In the headlines, 27th July is Budget Day. Two brothers from Bells charged with Eggleston man's murder, and Dominica records increase in passengers traveling by sea. I am Andrea Louis with the Channel 5 News. Back with the details after this. Thank you for staying with us. First up, Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit has promised $500,000 of state funds to the fishing and business sectors in Bagatelle and neighboring communities as he announced 27th July as the date for the 2017-2018 National Budget Presentation. He addressed a town hall meeting at Bagatelle on Sunday.
Kudari will make a commitment, and immediately after the passage of the budget, I want these funds transferred to the Village Council and to the Fisheries Corporation. For the fishermen, we're making a commitment of $250,000 for you. And for the small business, to get things going, we're committing $250,000 for the small businesses in these communities.
Bagatelle, Fab, Stowe and Point Carib will benefit from the funds. The Prime Minister also committed to providing 20 new houses to residents and assured repairs would be done to existing homes. He has also emphasized that the allocation of funds for special needs training is one of his budget highlights.
27th of July will be the budget day in Dominica. And I can tell you I am very excited about this year's budget, because it will be addressing a number of critical issues. We met with many stakeholders, many stakeholders, and we're committing in the budget some $15 million for the manufacturers. We'll also be putting additional money for small business development, entrepreneurship, to build a culture of entrepreneurship in Dominica. We'll also be putting an additional amount for training, and we'll be targeting a number of areas in our country. And for me, one of the areas that will be critical to the country is the training of teachers and parents in how to provide for the children with special needs in Dominica.
In other developments, the Loubier to Bagatelle Road is down to get a major facelift with millions of dollars from the United Kingdom's Department for International Development. Member of Parliament for Bagatelle, Dr. Kenneth Dabru, said monies have been allocated for several road projects in his constituency.
We, the Dominica Labour Party administration, we have made a commitment that come the end of 2017, that we would have rehabilitated all roads in all communities around the island. I know a lot of you are asking about the overall safety of our road and especially the main road. You would have heard us speak a number of times, myself and also the Minister of Public Works, as it pertains to what we call a British-funded DFID project, where the British government committed £30 million to us to rehabilitate the road from Loubier all the way back to Bagatelle. And I said Bagatelle, not Pilit-Servan, okay? We're talking about well over $100 million to be spent on the road from Loubier to Bagatelle to take care of all the safety issues, the stabilization of some of the cliff areas, the bridges that need to be replaced, the bridges that need to be built.
As it relates to the Sene Road in Bagatelle, Daru said a contractor had started preliminary works to temporarily address the problems on that route, and in the next few weeks, dredging and excavation works will begin.
But we recognize that this area is an area that's going to be needing some serious money for any permanent intervention. However, bearing in mind the sometimes long drawn-out processes and time that needs to be that we take sometimes to draw down into the funds, internationally funded projects such as this DFID project, yours truly, with the cooperation or blessings of the Honorable Minister of Finance, would have moved in to intervene temporarily. So as we speak, we would have contracted someone to do some what they call temporary works in the Sene area. More than likely, works on this major project will not start probably until the middle of next year. So bearing in mind the hurricane season, and every time it rains, we see what happens, that we would have engaged a contractor to do some temporary works for us in the center area, where we're going to have this concrete runover and, of course, pedestrian crossing.
In other budget-related news, the teaching population in Dominica is being encouraged to take advantage of provisions being made to help the special needs children in the country. During a town hall meeting in Newtown last week, Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit revealed that allocations will be made in the upcoming budget to better equip teachers to teach special needs children. At the opening ceremony of the DAT-CTF Summer Workshop on Monday, Chief Education Officer Melina Fontaine urged teachers to get in line with this program so that all children can be properly taught despite their various challenges.
You would have heard the Honorable Prime Minister pronounce that he will be addressing the issue of teacher training, specifically as it relates to children with special education needs in this year's budget address. I am aware that about 36 of you so far have registered to follow the program on inclusive education. This means that you're on the right path to be counted, as you're already engaged in professional development that is equipping you with the knowledge and skills to work with children who are struggling for various reasons.
Minister for Education Peter Saja said the ministry and the government are committed to helping teachers with their overall professional development as a means of becoming more effective change agents to help develop the country.
If we are to effectively deal with the problems that affect us here in Dominica, that our teachers must be fully exploited in order to produce well-rounded 21st century students, people who are ready for the workforce. And that is why the Prime Minister has announced a major teacher training initiative which will be articulated in this year's budget. Because for us to transform our local economy, it begins and ends with a cadre of well-trained, well-paid teachers.
In other lead stories, the Gustav brothers have been charged with the murder of Glenn Alphonse of Girardel, who was shot on a passenger bus earlier this month. The 5th July incident took place at Eggleston while Alphonse was a passenger on a bus. Brothers Jeremy Gustav and Randolph Gustav from Bells appeared in court on Monday where the charges were read to them. They were not allowed to enter a plea since the matter is an indictable one to be tried before a judge and jury. Following Monday's court appearance, Magistrate Ali Gill granted a request by the brothers' lawyer, Kondwani Williams, to have Jeremy Gustav seek medical attention at the hospital. The matter was adjourned until 14th August. Alphonse died at the Princess Margaret Hospital from a gunshot wound to the chest. The Trinidadian gospel show promoter Cornelius Thomas, who was arrested and charged here in 2013 for attempted deception, was one of the prison escapees in Guyana. Edna Jean-Baptiste has that story.
Cornelius Thomas was one of 5 men on the run from police following the July 9th fire at Guyana's largest prison. He was convicted in Dominica in September 2013 for fraudulently issuing bounced checks to 2 travel agencies amounting to $83,000 in total. Thomas was promoting a Saving Souls gospel show on island to feature American gospel singer Vashon Mitchell. That show never took place as Thomas was arrested while on a Q95 talk show. He was deported to Trinidad on the 14th of January 2015 after being imprisoned here for not paying the court-ordered fines and compensation for his crime. Guyana's crime chief, Superintendent Wendell Blanham, told Channel 5 News on Monday Thomas was on remand at Guyana's Camp Street prison for drug trafficking at the time of his escape. Superintendent Blanham said Thomas was captured on Monday afternoon in an area in Georgetown called Seafield, South Sophia. Guyana police have already informed the International Police Organization, or Interpol, about the other fugitives. Idona Jean-Baptiste, Channel 5 News.
More news, sports and weather after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Travelers entering and leaving Dominica by sea on l'Express des Îles have quadrupled over the past 30 years. The ferry services managing director said the company's success would not be what it is today if it was not for the Dominica market.
When we started here in Dominica, we used to carry about, I would say a year, about 20,000 passengers a year in and out of Dominica to the neighboring islands. And in the last years, we are now between 70 and 80,000 passengers per year. That means that in this 30-year period, we have multiplied by 4 number of passengers entering and leaving Dominica by sea. In this period, we have carried in and out of Dominica close to 1.3 million passengers, and the year where we carried the maximum was in 2012, where we carried 79,000, a bit over 79,000 passengers.
L'Express des Îles connects Dominica to Guadeloupe, Martinique, St. Lucia, Marie-Galante and Les Sens. The ferry also carries the most passengers to Dominica when compared to Martinique and Guadeloupe.
When we started, the Dominican market was very small. But where Dominica has been very lucky, it is that it was just in the middle between Guadeloupe and Martinique. At this time, the 2 main islands for this traffic were Guadeloupe, Martinique, the third was St. Lucia, and the last one, Dominica. But as we have to go between Guadeloupe and Martinique, we could just stop there, and that was on extra passengers. And time passing by, the figures went up and up and up. And nowadays, on this route, Guadeloupe, Dominica, Martinique, Dominica is close to 60% of the total traffic, when it used to be something less than 10%. So it is now, your authorities often tell me, you are important for Dominica. Believe me, Dominica is very important for l'Express des Îles.
Dominica's first male Queen's Young Leaders awardee believes focus and support must be directed towards ensuring male achievement. Iba Raverier received the award from Queen Elizabeth on 29th June at Buckingham Palace for creating opportunities for youth in agriculture. He is president of the award-winning Youth in Agriculture organization, Seoul Multipurpose Cooperative Society Limited. Raverier does not agree with the view that young males are largely underachievers.
We have also a large portion of young males who are doing incredible work, and they are not highlighted. But if a young guy was to be heard in some drug raid or some shooting or something negative, to be blown out of proportion, and at every level of the organizational structure, the structure of the society, there would be discussions about that. It would go to the region probably, and maybe even on CNN. But then when we have our young men achieving great things, you don't hear much about that. And I had that personal experience. Persons do not even, in general, persons do not even want to find out more about what good that this young man or that young man is doing. And I believe that reflects poorly in our society, and that's something that I want to speak towards strongly, like moving forward, now that I have a platform from which that I can speak.
He unveiled the plans on what lies ahead in his organization's efforts to further develop the youth in agriculture sector.
One of my organization, which is Seoul Multipurpose Cooperative Society Limited, it's a youth in agriculture cooperative. Our main goals is to burnish the image of agriculture once more. So currently, as we speak, we're developing a propagation unit where we'll be producing all different types of plants. We're in discussions with one of the agricultural stations and the persons there, where we could roll over our programs. Out of that propagation unit, we will be doing what we are calling right now the Soul Farmers Program, where you could send any farmer, any prospective farmer, into that program, and they would come up on the other side. But that has to be someone who wants to farm, who really wants to do that.
He believes greater support must be given to young people involved in agriculture for the sustainable development of the sector. Teachers from the Southern Education District have embarked on a 2-week teachers training course organized by the Dominica Association of Teachers and Canadian Teachers Federation. The annual summer workshop has taken on a different format this year, as it will focus solely on teachers from the Southern District. The Canadian Teachers Federation has been partnering with the DAT for the Summer Institute for several years.
Professional development is most effective when it is reflective, interactive, practical, continuous, teacher-driven, supported, and embedded in teachers' work. So we need to, our profession is a reflective profession. We can't go and teach every day without reflecting, how was your day? Did I really reach every student? Because we have that mission to reach every student. As they say, all students can learn, but it depends on us. How are we going to get them to learn? And at the end of the day, did they improve? This teaching, it's a giving and a taking as we share and learn together with a view of collaborating with our colleagues here and in Canada.
President of the DAT, Celia Nicholas, says the accountability and the credibility of the association have played key roles in ensuring they receive continued funding from the CTF despite its cutbacks in financial assistance to other countries over the years.
Right now, the majority of overseas projects is in Africa. From my understanding, there are only 3 projects in the Caribbean. DAT has been a constant from the time we have started. There has never been a year that CTF has told us they cannot fund us, and that speaks very loudly to the credibility and the accountability which Mr. John we spoke about the Dominica Association of Teachers.
The DAT president pointed out that while the association is doing its part to provide quality training for teachers, the ministry should move to ensure there are available spaces to accommodate the increasing variety of subjects under the curriculum.
What I would like to see, Mr. Minister, is we are talking about the performing VPAs. And the VPAs are now having economic value to every country, and particularly to the Caribbean, and we see it in Dominica through our World Creole Festival. Most of the technical and artistic energies, where do they come from? From outside. We have to develop our own people so that they can provide those services for us. So our VPAs, our subjects, we need to provide space for the development of those subjects.
And 12 individuals have been selected to try to dethrone 3-time NCC Okara Calypso winner Anton White Ferry Joseph of Grand Fall. At the closed auditions over the weekend, the panel of 5 judges eventually agreed on 12 individuals to make it to the competition. Initially, the panel was to select 10 competitors, but after debating the issue, agreed to allow 12 to compete against Joseph, who has won the title 3 consecutive years. The 12 are Chris B. Sylvester, Murphy Cy John Jules, Desmond Lawrence, Shirley Lady S. Charles, Kasim Birmingham, Jasta Williams, Ellis Sarah, Ramadin Philip, Gail Regist, Shamika Sorrendo, Charles Leatham, and Iola George. The NCC Okada Calypso show is scheduled for 2nd November at the Portersville Savannah. That's news. Your sports highlights next with Penny Williams.
In football, it was goals galore in the 2017 Fast Cash Harlem League, with teams playing aggressive football over the weekend. Club Blue Bear hammered Daddy Chest Bath Road Ambassadors 8-1. Kyle Del Sol got the first beaver trick for the season when he netted 4 times, 2 on either sides of the halves. Dante Williams got 2, with 1 each from Darren Del Sol and Samuel Omindoyin. Ambassadors Javon Bellot got their lone goal from the penalty spot. In another match, defending champion Burt Motors Youngstars did not have to burst a sweat since 767 Young Ballers was unable to put a team together for their first game of the season. Newtown Juvenile Football Academy got the better of Aeropost Dutch United 3-1 for the first time in the league. NJFA's goals came from Randolph Peltier, Linker Edwards and Owen Maffey. Dutch United's Donan Gevrier scored their lone goal. Finally, Quirkside and Icons played to a 4-all draw. Jante Kazemi and match MVP Delano Edwards scored 2 each for Icons, while Okan Francis added 2, Denzel Riley and Samson Nichols scored 1 apiece for Quirkside. Next up, the selection panel of Cricket West Indies named a 15-member squad for the Tour of England in August. Opening batsman Kyle Hope and all-rounder Raymond Reefer are the only 2 uncapped players in the squad for the tour, which will feature the first ever day-night test in England from August 18 to 22. Following the test matches, the Windies will have the limited overs segment of the tour. The squad for the 5 one-day internationals and 1 off T20 international will be named at a later date. The full squad for the test against England reads Jason Holder, captain; Craig Brathwaite, vice-captain; Devendra Bishu, Jermaine Blackwood, Ruston Chase, Miguel Cummins, Shane Dorwich, Shannon Gabriel, Shimron Hetmeyer, Kyle Hope, Shai Hope, Alzari Joseph, Kieran Powell, Raymond Reefer, and Kemar Roach. Darren Bravo was not considered for selection since the squad was chosen before he issued the apology. Meantime, West Indies under-19 team found renewed vigor with a timely half-century from Dominica's man of the match, Alec Athanas, to help beat South Africa by 4 wickets and level the series on Sunday. Batting first, South Africa was bowled out for 207 in 48.2 overs. Naeem Young picked up 3 for 42 and Matthew Patrick 2 for 26. Chasing 208 to win, West Indies scored 209 for 6 in 44.3 overs. Athanas finished with the highest figures in that match, scoring an unbeaten 66. Bhaskar Yadram closely supported with 65. With this win, West Indies leveled the series with South Africa 2-all. The series decider is carded for Wednesday at 9 a.m. On the basketball scene, there were wins for Lady Panthers, Algin Pizza Hoyas, and Pitchless Sports Club Falcons in action from the 2017 Floor DABA League on the weekend. In the women's game, Panthers dominated 44 points to 20 against OO Washers PSS. Panthers' Melissa Williams netted 15 points and Kernia John 12. In a losing effort, Washers' Amaya George added 7 to her team's total. In the under-17s, Hoyas ended with the upper hand, scoring 63 points against Paybush Snipers 47. Hoyas' top scorer was Felix Lawrence, who came in with 28, while Troy Brooks chipped in with 16. Despite Snipers' best efforts to finish with the win, Jamal Grell 11 finished on 11 points, while Sherma Felicity added 10. Moving on to the premier game, where Pitchless Sports Club Falcons edged out Dr. Mark Prowler's 68-67. Falcons' Edmund Williams had a game high of 20 points with the help of Q1 Thomas 13 and Peter Ricketts 11 to win the match. In a losing effort, Prowler's Craig St. Rose scored 15 points, Julian Isles and Joel McIntyre 13 points each, and JC Toussaint 10. Sports continues with this item, where West Indies women went down to England by 92 runs in the ICC Women's World Cup on Saturday. Batting first, England put on 220 for 7 in 50 overs. Heather Knight contributed 67 and Tammy Beaumont 42. Affie Fletcher picked up 3 wickets for 33 runs. Set 221 for the win, West Indies scored 128 for 9 in 50 overs. Hayley Matthews 29 and Chedine Nathan 23 were the Windies' top scorers. Natalie Skiver took 3 wickets for 3 runs. On the international cricket scene, where England put up poor resistance on the fourth day to lose to South Africa by 340 runs in the second test match on Monday. Recapping the headlines, South Africa batted first and made 335 in 96.2 overs. Hashim Amla 78, Quinton de Kock 68 and Vernon Philander 54. James Anderson snatched a decent 5 for 72 and Stuart Board 3 for 64. In reply, England scored 205 all out. Joe Root added 78 to his team's total. In the second innings, South Africa declared on 343 for 9 after 104 overs. Moeen Ali picked up 4 for 78. Set 474 to win, England crumbled on 133 all out in 44.2 overs, with their highest scoring batsman being Alistair Cook's 42. With this win, the series is now leveled 1-all. That's all the sporting highlights for now. I am Kenny Williams. Be sure to join us next time.
Stay tuned for your weather forecast.
Good evening, Dominica, and welcome to tonight's weather broadcast. I'm your presenter, Marshall Alexander. We begin by taking a look at earlier infrared satellite imagery, what it showed. This area of convection, which is now tropical storm Dawn, as of 5 p.m. today. At 5 p.m. today, the center of tropical storm Dawn was located in the latitude 11.2 degrees north, longitude 52.6 degrees west, and that is about 485 miles east of Barbados, or 572 miles southeast of Dominica. Dawn is moving towards the west near 17 miles per hour with maximum sustained winds near 40 miles per hour. The system is expected to move across the southern portion of the island chain by late Tuesday and into Wednesday. Now taking a look at earlier visible satellite imagery, what it showed, a few low-level clouds across Dominica today, and this resulted in fair to partly cloudy skies, and also to the east, an area of cloudiness ahead of tropical storm Dawn. Now taking a look at earlier radar imagery and what it indicated, scattered showers across most of the island chain, or mainly to the east of the island due to the approaching weather system. Now tonight's weather is expected to be partly cloudy to cloudy and breezy with a few scattered showers. Similar conditions can be expected tomorrow with a slight increase in wind speeds. Sea conditions are expected to be moderate in open water with waves peaking near 7 feet. Small craft operators and sea beavers, particularly on the eastern coast, you're advised to exercise caution. Looking ahead to the next 3 days, partly cloudy to cloudy skies with some scattered showers expected tomorrow. However, as we move into Wednesday, some thunderstorm activity can be expected due to the presence of tropical storm Dawn. Breezy conditions can be expected throughout the 3-day period. For the rest of the Caribbean, partly cloudy to cloudy skies with a few scattered showers across the central and northern portion of the region, with an increasing cloudiness, showers and thunderstorm activity, and also gusty winds expected across the southern portion. Our international cities forecast: showers and thunderstorm activity expected across Miami, Caracas, and Beijing. Partly cloudy skies expected across London and New York. Sunrise tomorrow will be at 5:43 a.m. and sunset will be at 6:40 p.m. For more information, you can call the weather hotline at 447-5555 or visit the website at weather.gov.dm. Please remember that we are in the hurricane season. Stay safe. Have a good night.
To end the news, the headlines again. July 27th is Budget Day. 2 brothers from Bells are charged with Eggleston man's murder, and Dominica records increase in passengers traveling by sea. Feel free to contact us at news.marpin2k4.com. You can also access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Andrea Louis, and to all of our viewers around the world, thank you so much for watching. Join us tomorrow.